Welcome to Georgia's, Penny.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here, Dawn. Thank you for having me.
I am excited to have you. So I see a lot of wonderful, colorful vegetables and proteins on the table. So what are we cooking today?
We are going to make some homemade chili,
Oh my goodness.
and we're going to talk about how to do it with or without meat. You know, you and I have had the conversation that I just started cooking with your great dessert spice blend in my savory cooking.
Yes.
And so we started having a conversation about how did I go about incorporating that. And I said, well, I have two dishes that I really use it in all the time. And one is a chili and the other is a homemade enchilada sauce.
Wow.
And one of the things that these particular spices do is they really help cut the heat.
Yes.
So sometimes, like if my husband makes the chili, it might be too hot for me, and I can even just sprinkle a little bit of the spice blend on top just to cut that heat. But what I really like to do when I make my chili is actually cook with it that those flavors just get infused, you know, throughout the whole dish.
And that's what the heat does. The heat helps intensify the flavors and make it more bold. So yes. So I didn't know about it cutting down the heat. So I'm going to tell my husband that. Note to self to remember to tell him. So awesome. So let's get started.
Great. Why don't you?
So let's get started.
Great. Why don't you chop up some of our vegetables?
Okay,
So
perfect.
in the chili today, we're going to make ground beef chili.
Okay.
And I've got some ground beef crumbles here.
And look like that ground beef actually came with onions in it.
It did, yes. This ground beef came with onions in it. I picked it up at IGA today. I'd never seen that before. So it's my first time to try that. But hey, why not try something new? Now, when I make chili that's vegetarian, because I do have a daughter that's vegetarian, I start with a different base, and I like to use this Better Than Bouillon.
That's one of my favorites.
Yep,
Yeah.
and this is the vegetable base, and it's going to be 1 teaspoon of this to 8 ounces of water. So I'll make a vegetable base, and I will cook my vegetables in this base in the skillet.
So do you like saute them first? You saute them in the
I saute them
bouillon base?
in this base,
Perfect.
yes. But today, of course, we're using this ground beef, and so we're going to put our vegetables right in with this ground beef as it's cooking. Now, this ground beef from frozen that's already crumbled is going to cook in about 7 to 8 minutes. And this is a pound of ground beef, and it's equivalent to 1 small diced onion. Now, chili is a very personal thing, don't you agree?
I agree with it.
Yeah.
Because I know some people like sweet chili. Some
They
people
do.
like chili with a little heat. I actually prefer spaghetti in my
Oh,
chili.
I love spaghetti in my chili too. And you know, we of course here in Kentucky, most everybody does put spaghetti in their chili. Cincinnati chili is well known for having cinnamon in it and other spices, but my mother has always made chili with cinnamon.
Oh, okay.
And she has occasionally put other spices in it. And that's what gave me the idea to start using your spice blend, because I had these 2 recipes that really had that sweetness. Now, I like to use a sweet onion in my chili, a Vidalia onion or a yellow onion.
Okay.
And so this is just this is a yellow onion, so that's what went in here. And then I like to use some red pepper and some yellow pepper and just a little bit of green pepper in my chili.
How many?
That looks good. Yeah, let's put some of that in.
Okay.
I'll just take that right in. So I'm just putting the red pepper right in with the chili as we cook the ground beef. Now, Dawn and I met each other at the St. Matthew's Farmers Market.
Yeah, we did.
And the market will be starting the 2nd Saturday in May this year, as we always do. It's our 16th year. And the farmer's market is a great place to get fresh vegetables.
Yes.
They'll have onions right when we open.
Yes.
And pretty soon we'll have hothouse green peppers. We have a couple of Amish farmers that have big hoops where they start to cultivate their seeds from the previous year. And so by the end of May, you'll start to see some of these nice, beautiful colored peppers. And I love to use the combination of the different colors rather than just green pepper. But you know, when you make your chili, it's personal. And so you can do it however you want.
And see, while you talking, I'm gonna have to work on my chopping skills because the ground beef is gonna be done by the time I get done chopping all these peppers. And we might have to cut the heat up just a little bit.
Yep.
Get it a little hot, so you hear it sizzle.
We'll sizzle that. It's gonna happen soon.
And so that's one thing I do love about the farmers market. You was mentioning that we actually met at the farmers market here in Louisville, Kentucky. And that, you know, the farmers market, you can get almost anything. You can get your protein, you can get your dessert, your bread, your fresh fruits and vegetables.
Exactly.
And then I believe even they might even have people there making homemade soap.
Yes,
I believe
they do.
A lot of farmers markets. So the farmers market is a great place to be able to actually, you shop, what happens at the farmers market, you actually are buying what's in season. That's what you're buying. So it's a great place to go.
That's right.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to work a little faster without chopping my fingers off.
That's okay. Don't chop your finger off. While you're chopping, I'm going to talk a little bit about the base that I use for my chili. Now, you can use any base that you want. I mentioned when I do it vegetarian, I use this Better Than Bouillon. When I'm making a meat chili, I like to use Bloomer's chili base. So this is it's not a local Louisville product, but it is a regional product from here in Kentucky. And this chili base has some nice good fats in it from proteins. It also has some of this Bloomer's chili powder, and it has some other spices, and we'll check those out. So what you're going to do is put that right in the middle, and that's going to break down as it cooks.
And so what's all in that? Is it
I'm going to look and tell you right now. It's got, it just kind of helps with the flavoring. It's got ground beef fat, so it's got some of those good fats building up a little lard there. It's got water. It's got a little bit of spices, starch, salt, paprika, and garlic powder. So.
Okay, I finally got done with the peppers.
Okay, good. We've got all of our peppers in here now, and you can see that our mixture is starting to steam there, so it's cooking. And what we're going to do, this will break down as it gets hot.
Okay.
This base.
So let me ask you, I know you was telling me the story about how you end up actually using our dessert blend. So I probably need to change the name. We actually call it Georgia Sweet Potato Dessert Blend. So I probably just need to say Georgia Sweet Potato Spice Blend.
Exactly.
Because you was telling me the story about that you had made the chili. I don't know, your husband made the chili.
My husband made the chili.
And it was a little too spicy for you.
It was too spicy. And
so you just sprinkled a little bit in it, right?
Exactly. Because I use your spice blend every day in my coffee.
Okay.
So
I drink it.
I like to do a lot of almond milk in my coffee because it's just easy on my stomach. I have a big creamy coffee, you know, a couple times a week, but with that almond milk, the combination with the spice blend, it's just spectacular. And so I knew exactly what it was going to taste like. And as I was eating this chili that my husband made, it was really good, but it was just super, super hot. And I thought, you know, Dawn's Spice Blend is really going to cut that for me. It's going to help break down that heat. It's going to sweeten it a bit, and it's going to make it just a little easier, easier on my stomach.
So actually, it's truly sweet potato magic, like we call it. Just sprinkle that magic in it. So now we're breaking down on the base. We're browning our ground beef. And so that, like you said, that would take anywhere between 7 to 10 minutes. And probably for us, a little about 10 minutes, just because I didn't have my pan hot enough. But hey, we're going to get there. And then once we get done with that, then we'll move to the next step. So it's just going to take just a few minutes to get it all mixed up.
Now, Dawn, do you cook with your spice blend in your savory cooking?
So actually, what I have done so far is I've actually, well, I do baked sweet potatoes.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Or
so
squash.
Good.
You know.
Yes. Oh, I love to use
And so with
squash.
our dessert blend, we actually have a little hint of brown sugar. So it can when I put it on that sweet potato or that summer squash, it just kind of caramelizes those natural sugars they already have. But I haven't actually ventured out to really start using it on some like savory dishes. But you are inspiring me.
Well, I've got another dish. We're going to make some enchilada sauce today.
Wow.
I have this enchilada sauce recipe that is from a restaurant that used to be here on Bardstown Road. It's been closed for a while. It's called Alameda. And I loved their enchilada sauce so much. This was in the early 1990s. I wrote to them and asked them if they would share the recipe for me to make it home, and they did. And so I've been making this particular enchilada sauce for 30 years, and I have always used a spice blend that I think is similar to what's in your dessert blend.
Wow.
So tell me a little bit about the spices that are in there.
So actually we use pure vanilla bean.
Okay.
We use like a vanilla bean paste.
Yes.
It has a hint of brown sugar, nutmeg, and cinnamon.
Nutmeg and cinnamon.
That's it.
That's a wonderful combination.
We keep it really simple because what I wanted to create something that is a one-stop shop to make your favorite dessert. You don't have to worrying about going and buying that pure vanilla.
Yes.
Where's the nutmeg? Where's the cinnamon? No, you just buy a dessert blend, put a tablespoon in it, and it just enhances any dessert. But now I'm learning that it also enhances any of your savory dishes also.
Exactly. Now smell this. Doesn't this smell good?
And
it's starting to look beautiful, and we've got all those beautiful colors in there with our peppers. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to reserve some of this because we're going to use this for our enchilada filling.
Perfect. Perfect.
Once we make our sauce, we'll show you how we roll that up. And so this is basically, remember, this is the chili base.
So it's our chili base right here.
It's our chili base. It's got our
ground beef. It has our yellow sweet onion. It has our pepper, or the trinity of the pepper. So it's the green pepper, the red pepper, and the yellow. And so, in our spice blend. And
our spice blend.
Yes. Yeah. And our spice blend.
All right. And so the next thing we're going to do is add the rest of our spices.
Okay.
So we probably want to add a little bit more chili powder. So let's add a tablespoon of chili powder, and we'll taste it and see, if that's right. And see if we like that. That's okay. I mean, that's the thing about chili, which is so good. And now let's add a tablespoon of our dessert spice blend. Yep. Great.
There we go.
Good. And we've got that all mixed up. And I hope you can see that at home. Yeah, it really does. You're starting to get that sweetness. And why don't you stir that for a minute?
Sure will.
And what I will do is get our tomato juice.
It really smells amazing.
I like to use tomato juice as my base for chili, rather than water. Not everybody does that. My mother did that, and I like the taste of it. So I probably won't use this entire can of tomato juice, but
so how many cups do you think you probably going to use of it?
Well, if I were using my big pan today, I would be using I would use this entire jar. Okay. But we're going to use slightly less today because we've used a shallower pan. And in addition to the tomato juice, we're going to put 2 cans of diced tomatoes in our chili. And I like red gold. I find that canned tomatoes is something that's a little bit of a personal choice. Yeah. Do you have a brand that you like to use all the time?
I don't really. Okay. I do add diced tomatoes to my chili, and I use a chili sauce. I do use a chili sauce.
Tell us about that.
So it's a canned chili sauce. Hey, remember I bake pies, so hey, it's a canned chili sauce that I use, but I do use diced tomatoes.
Okay.
I love tomatoes in my. I think it actually gives it a sweet taste. It makes your chili sweet.
I'm going to have to look for that chili sauce because I've never made chili that way. So we're all learning something today. Now the beans that I like to use are the Brooks brand beans. I like Brooks chili hot beans. So they've got a little bit of heat to them. And we're going to add a can of those and mix that around real good. And especially when I'm making a vegetarian chili, I like to use multiple kinds of beans. So I'll probably put some black beans in there. Let's do that today.
Yeah, I do. I love black beans in my chili.
Yeah, they're really good.
Guys,
So we'll
this
get
is
everything
coming
in there.
together. Oh, it's
And we'll let that cook a
amazing.
little bit while we make our enchilada sauce, which goes together really quick and easy. And then we'll have a bite of chili, and we'll also have some enchiladas.
I love it. So I encourage you guys to go out and get our Georgia sweet potato dessert blend. Because it say dessert blend, we're showing you today that it can be used in savory dishes. So you can get it on Amazon. You can go to our website at georgiasweettreat.com and you can purchase our dessert blend. Or if you're in Louisville, hey, come to the farmer's market. Yeah. Hey, let us see your face. I know with COVID we can't hug you, but we can send you virtual love. So just come to the farmer's market and let us see you.
And I think, today, Dawn, with our shallow pan, we really don't need a lot more liquid in the chili.
I don't think
it's
we
nice
do.
and thick. So if you're making this in your big quart pan, couple quart pan, you're going to add your tomato juice. But today, we got enough juice from our red gold tomatoes that we really don't need that.
So let me ask you, so if we don't put it in there, do you think it's going to change the flavor profile of the chili?
Well, I think it might be a little more intense in its flavor, because what that tomato juice will do is it will cut that flavor a little bit. It also adds a little bit of salt to it, because of course canned tomatoes have salt. And that's why I'm not adding any additional salt into my chili. Now you can add that to taste if you need to, but I think we're going to be okay there. I think we've got enough juice, so let's get this out of our way.
We'll tell you, I need to go get the finishing salt.
Okay, good. So we'll just let that cook a little bit, and let's start on our chicken enchilada sauce.
Perfect.
Yeah. So now everybody's chili recipe, of course, is personal. This enchilada sauce comes from the Alameda Bar and Grill. Rest in peace, Alameda Bar and Grill. And this is their enchilada sauce. Now they used to do this with chicken enchiladas. We're going to do ground beef today.
Okay.
The secret to a great enchilada is to go ahead and roll up your filling and let it bake in the oven for a little bit and get crispy before you put your sauce on top.
That makes
So
sense.
what that's going to do for you is it's going to crisp up that flour or corn tortilla and get it nice and hot. And then once you put your sauce on top and then your cheese, you're going to retain some of that crispiness.
Okay, it makes sense.
Yep. So we're going to start our sauce here. So first, Dawn, let's go ahead and do some margarine. We're going to use butter. Let's do about 2 tablespoons of butter.
Okay.
And let's put that in our pan. Now this particular enchilada sauce uses a lot of chili powder.
Oh, wow.
And so it's actually going to use 3/4 of a cup of chili powder, because this is going to make a half a gallon of enchilada sauce. Now we'll put the recipe for this on Dawn's social media. So let's let that melt, and we're going to use our dessert spice blend. So let's see if we can get this melting a little bit here. And as that melts, we're going to start to add in our spices. So we're going to have 3/4 of a cup of chili powder. If you want to go ahead and put that,
dump it in?
Yeah, go ahead and dump that in. And we'll just let that all kind of melt together. Then we are going to put some garlic in. And so this calls for 1.5 tablespoons of chopped garlic. Now you can use fresh garlic. At my house, I like to use this minced garlic, which will then get reconstituted in the sauce.
A tablespoon and a half?
1.5 tablespoons of garlic. So it's garlicky, but it's good. It's good.
And you said we can use fresh garlic. If
Yeah,
we
you
like.
absolutely can use fresh garlic.
Okay.
But this is kind of a quick and easy one. It's minced and it gets rehydrated with the liquid that we're going to put in there. Now next we want to put in our sweetness.
Okay.
And so we're going to use actually quite a bit of this.
Okay.
We're going to use a 1/4 cup
Okay.
of the spice blend. So let's go ahead and a 1/4 cup would be, I'm not doing the math correctly here, but probably let's do 4 tablespoons
Sounds good to me.
of the spice blend. And that's going to give us that sweetness.
Don't tell my math teacher.
That's right.
Okay.
Good. Our butter's melting. Our pan's getting hot.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Now we're going to put in a teaspoon of our bouillon base.
It smells so good.
Doesn't that smell good? It's got all kinds of
You said a
wonderful
teaspoon or a
vegetables.
tablespoon? I'm so sorry.
Let's start with a teaspoon of that.
Okay.
Because we're going to use that as a base just to mix in all those flavors.
Okay.
Now, I'm making this vegetarian today, but if I were serving this with chicken and using chicken as the filling, I could use chicken stock or chicken base.
Okay, it makes sense. Okay.
All right, so stir that around,
I'll mix it.
and then I'll start to add the water, and you just stir that in.
Mixing it up.
And so again, we're adding 6 cups of water. And this should make about a 1/2 gallon of enchilada sauce. So this is going to be more than enough for us to have our meal tonight. And we're going to serve our enchiladas with some cheese on top, and we've got some sour cream. And we've also got some fresh avocado. So once that avocado is really ripe, you're looking for that deep, deep green color. And you want to slice that in half so that you can take the pit out in the center, and then just use your knife to run around and pull that avocado out. If you like avocado, and you can add that.
They're so good.
Then you can add that to the top of your chili. You can add it to the top of your enchilada, and that's just going to add a little bit of good protein to the dish. It's going to give you some of that good fat.
And so one of the things you was telling me that for you, when you like to cook meals where you can end up getting 2 dishes out of it.
Exactly.
So I think that's a brilliant idea that, especially with the cost of the way food is, the cost is increasing.
Yes, exactly.
I just think that's a great idea to try to purchase something to where you can at least get 2 meals out of it.
Exactly. And so what we're doing tonight is we started with a pound of ground beef, but you can see that we split that. And so that pound of ground beef has gone in not only our chili here, but it's also going to go in as our enchilada filling. And look how rich and meaty that is. And it's got plenty of meat in it. Even though we split that pound between our 2 dishes, we're not lacking for meat in this chili. And we've got all those delicious vegetables.
And especially this time of year, you want something that's going to stick to your bones. It's
Exactly.
going to make you feel nice and warm and cozy.
Exactly.
So chili, for me, always hit that spot.
No
Anytime
question.
I see some snow flurries coming down, it's time to go to the store and buy some products to make chili.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, turning our attention back to our enchilada sauce, we're going to let that cook for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So we're going to let that boil and bubble. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to thicken that to whatever consistency we like. Again, like chili, making an enchilada sauce is also kind of a personal, it's kind of a personal choice. I like a little bit of a thinner sauce. I like a lot of it. My husband likes it thick. So what you can do to thicken that once that cooks is you can just make a roux at home using flour and butter and just mix that up in a separate little pan. And that's what you're going to, once you get that nice roux, you're just going to put that in a few tablespoons at a time to thicken your sauce to your desired consistency.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So we're going to let this cook for about 5 or 10 minutes.
We're going to let that cook, yeah.
And we'll be right back with you. Awesome. So Penny, we done been 5 to 6 minutes. Our enchilada sauce is pretty much steaming. So
Yes.
now I see we melted butter.
We melted some butter.
And
Yeah.
I think we melted what was about 3 tablespoons.
About
maybe?
3 tablespoons, and I'm just kind of adding flour
Okay.
to what I think is the right mixture. So it was about a half of this type of spoon in order to make a roux.
Okay, so that's that roux that you was talking about to thicken up our enchilada
Yeah, that's
sauce.
going to thicken up our enchilada sauce. So this is just butter and flour. You've melted the butter, and then we've just added the flour to mix it. We've gotten all the lumps out, and now we're just going to put that right in, and I'm going to have you keep stirring it. That's the secret with the roux. You've got to keep stirring it.
Or it will clump up on you.
It will clump up, and we've got to make sure that this is enough. You know, we're gonna decide, you know, how thick do we want this sauce, and so it's just gonna thicken. Now, usually when I'm making this at home, you know, I'll have to thicken it a couple of times, but I like to just do it one at a time so that I don't get it too thick.
And this is really a personal preference.
Exactly.
How thick you want your enchilada sauce.
Gosh, I can smell that dessert blend so well. Can you just smell that beautiful flavor
it smells
wafting up?
It does. It smells good. So for us, Penny, so you think pretty much that our roux is thick enough for us?
I think it's good for us.
I think it looks good for us.
We're going to put some on top. So as we talked about earlier, what we're going to do with our enchiladas is we're just going to take our
so move that flour out of your way
that we reserved, and we're going to put that right in the center. And you know, I have a tendency to put too much in there, and then they don't roll well.
Never too much meat. Never too much meat, and never too much cheese.
And then they don't roll very well. And now let's put some cheese on top of this. And you know, we have a lot of fun making breakfast at the farmer's market.
Yes.
And what we make breakfast burritos, and we make breakfast sandwiches. And so the way I've learned to roll a burrito or an enchilada,
she's a professional roller.
I don't know about that, but we're going to bend in the sides over that bit of filling that we put in, that ground beef. We're going to cover that, and then we're going to tuck it and then start to roll. So that's going to be our enchilada. We're going to put that in a pan and let that cook in the oven. And we're going to cook that at 350. We're going to cook that for about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. We don't want to burn the tortilla, but we want to get it nice and crispy before we add that hot, steaming enchilada sauce and more cheese. Then we're going to put it back in the oven. We're going to turn it up to 400 degrees, and we're just going to bake that flavor in while we wait for that cheese to melt. And of course, we're going to use our sauce that's already hot.
Okay.
So if we used a sauce that we made earlier and it was cold, then we would have to cook that longer.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Because we need the sauce to be hot.
We need the sauce to be hot. So I think we've got room
just
for
a little more meat.
Yeah, we
Just
got a little more
meat.
Let's make one more, Dawn.
Let's
Why
just do
not?
one more, hey.
That is looking so
Meat
good.
and cheese. Meat and cheese. You can't go wrong with that.
You really can't beat it.
There you go.
Okay, so again, we're just going to turn those sides in. We're going to flip the top over, and we're going to scoot, 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 and tuck, and then roll that enchilada right up. So,
Perfect.
Yeah.
So we're going to take those. We're going to put them in the oven.
Yes.
You said on 400?
We're going to cook them on 350,
On 350.
when they don't have any sauce on them.
Okay.
And we're just going to cook them about 8 to 10 minutes
Perfect.
until this tortilla starts to crisp.
Perfect.
Then we're going to take them out.
Okay.
And we're going to use the same pan. We're going to cover them in our enchilada sauce.
Awesome.
Okay, so these, we'll just pretend these are already crispy. And we're going to cover them in the sauce, as much sauce as you like. I would use
Or as little as you like.
Or
It's
as
up to
little. You can use them in a deep dish pan and pour lots and lots of sauce over it. And then you're going to top that with cheese. You're going to put that back in your oven at 400, and you're just going to get that cheese nice and melty.
Okay.
And if I were doing this at home, as you said, Dawn, it's a personal choice.
Yes.
I would add lots more sauce. I really like to drown these in the sauce.
It looks amazing. Well, I'm gonna tell you what. So we're gonna get our plates. It's almost time for us to eat. So
I'm excited.
Let me go find the plates. Hey, I'll be right back. 2, 3. Penny, I am just so excited. Like, We have our wonderful enchiladas with the enchilada sauce, and you put a little extra sprinkle or something on top.
I did. That is our Georgia's dessert spice blend because I can't get enough of it. So I like to sprinkle a little bit on top. And doesn't that look pretty?
That looks
the presentation is so
amazing.
nice. And a little cheese on top of my chili and a little more sprinkle of your delicious dessert
Awesome.
blend.
Well, I am ready. I added a little extra. I added some sour cream on mine. And I have my chili. And you know what? Only thing left we have to do other than eat is, me thanking you for spending this magical time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Penny, for going on this ride. Thank you for teaching us how to make homemade enchilada sauce and chili using Georgia's dessert spice blend.
Absolutely.
And so, you know what? I'm hungry. So there's nothing else to say.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here, and I love working with you at the Farmers Market. You're such an amazing addition to the team, and we're so glad to have you and your family. So thank you.
Thank you. Hey, well, you know
Enjoy.
what? So if you're going to go with the chili first.
I'm going to go with the chili.
I'm going to go with the enchilada with my beautiful design of my sour cream. So let me see here.
Dawn, we did a good job. This is really good chili. How's the enchilada? Okay, good.
Oh, this is really good. Oh my God. Hey,
Yeah.
put this in everything.
Yeah, put it in everything. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.